space for truth. Krishna is love, and my Father knew that love through all of you. As a result, I came to know that love through all of you. Unconditional love was present as devotees showered their love on my Father. They showered their love on my Father as a part and parcel of Krishna. This is the most profound lesson. We do live in the material world. Krishna may not be present consistently in a way we can always comprehend him, but he is alive in every living being. And the more we shower love on every living thing, the more we experience Krishna. Death is one way to experience Krishna. I remember all the ways I knew Krishna as the devotees came to love my Father and they knew he needed it. Extreme circumstances bring out the best and the worst in people. From Mayapur I saw only the love. I, from the bottom of my heart, thank the devotees and ask of them in every circumstance and in every soul to see Krishna. For Krishna is pure love, pure prema. By living this love of Krishna, as he exists, Paramatma, in every soul, you live in constant love of Krishna. So this is prema. This is the light of Krishna in Kali Yuga. This is the comfort you gave me that allows me to move forward in this material world with love, joy, and peace in my heart. We are imperfect beings. We make imperfect decisions and do imperfect things. But my Father, for all his imperfections, was a kind man, a loving man. A man with an incredible sense of humor and a razor-sharp intellect. A man who held in his mind the highest ideal for his god brothers and sisters. He can only hope to not talk about and reminisce, but actually live the hopes of my Father in our steadfast love for Krishna as he exists in all living entities. Jai Gurnitai. Your loving kindness and service humbles me. Thank you, Nitai. So this is how she experienced prema, a Gurukulia. And of course, since she's brought up in Krishna consciousness, she's very philosophical. And here she was, feeling, she had gone away and she, maybe perhaps not happy in Krishna consciousness, more wanting to be in the material world. But when she came to see how the devotees treated her father at the time of death, then she saw, yes, here it's really true. There is prema, there is love. And it is manifest through his devotees. And that happened, and now Brahmananda, my goodness, it's just all over the internet. And the love of devotees, so many different devotees are bringing up experiences they had with Brahmananda. And this Bhagavat Maharaj, he's a very big and healthy, they call healthy in India, we say fat, overweight. They like fat people in India. They think this is good. If you're skinny, they think something's wrong with you. In the West, it's the opposite. They think if you're fat, then there's something wrong with you. But he was very fat. And he joined the temple, and he was a new devotee in, I think it was in early New York, perhaps even 26 2nd Avenue. And Brahmananda was the temple president, and he couldn't eat the prasad, it was too spicy, so he wasn't eating for 2 days. And he was looking out the window. And outside the window there was a sign, Kentucky Fried Chicken. But he wasn't looking at it, but one devotee saw him looking out the window and thought, well, he's not eating, he must be wanting to go out and eat chicken. So then they went and told the temple president, Brahmananda, and Brahmananda called him and he called Rishi Kumar, another devotee, and said, okay, you can't eat this prasadam, he will cook whatever you want. He will cook for you. So he was so kind, and this devotee was remembering the kindness of Brahmananda. That they didn't want to lose him, and they didn't lose him. He came to India. He was traveling a lot with Brahmananda in Africa and India. He even was our temple president in Calcutta. He was always jolly. So yes, and he was remembering Brahmananda. So everybody's remembering Brahmananda now. So all the love is coming now for this extraordinary devotee. And Prabhupada does mention him in his books. I was reading this songbook, because tomorrow is Bhakti Vinod Thakur's day. I don't know, is it disappearance or appearance? Disappearance day, tomorrow. And Gadadhar Pandit, right. So Yeah, and before there's a little introduction, and before there's the life of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there's Prabhupada's talking about Bruce, who is Brahmananda, how Bruce came to help him, and Chuck was Achyutananda, who wrote the songbook actually. Chuck and Bruce, and he said they were the first ones who danced in front of me. Prabhupada was remembering Brahmananda and Achyutananda. So Achyutananda was away for some time now. He is in Alachua with the devotees and leading kirtans again sometimes. So yeah, he's there. Okay, so this is the prema that was experienced, and the prema is of course what is the vision of the pure devotee is described in the purport of the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. What is the vision of the pure devotee when he achieves love of God? He sees two things simultaneously. He sees Paramatma, he sees the Lord in every atom. Not only in every atom, Prabhupada said, in between every atom. Did you know there's space between the atoms? Prabhupada can see that. Nobody else can see the space between the atoms. Pure devotee can see, and he sees that Paramatma's there too, in between the atoms, and in the atoms. And at the same time, he sees Goloka in the spiritual world. He sees the pastimes being broadcast in the television of his heart. So the pure devotee has the Goloka TV going in his heart. We have perhaps a different one going. But when you get purified, then you will have the Goloka channel. Or perhaps the Ayodhya channel for Ram Bhaktas. Or Dwarka channel, or Vaikuntha channel. All of them are good channels to be tuned to. So we will stop here if you have any questions. Oh, wait a minute, let's chant one last thing together. Now, with your chart which I gave you, there was two small prayers. One, we didn't even do it yesterday, I forgot it. Okay, so yes. So there's some small prayers. I don't know if you got them on the first day. Somehow I found them today. I don't know if you have them. Oh yes, that last page. See, with only two prayers on the last one. Last one? Yes. It looks like this, kind of. It looks like this. All right. So these two prayers help us to know who we are and what is our goal of life. And the first one is our identity. I will sing one line and you can repeat after me. Chaitanya Radasamai, Chaitanya Radas, Chaitanya Radasamai, Chaitanya Radas, Chaitanya Radasamai, Taradasya Das, Chaitanya Radasamai, Taradasya Das. I'm a servant of Lord Chaitanya, a servant of Lord Chaitanya. I'm a servant of Lord Chaitanya, and a servant of his servants. So that is our identity. In case you get distracted during japa thinking about other relationships in this world, this is your eternal relationship right here. Servant of Lord Chaitanya. So you can remember this when you get distracted. And the next one is the goal of life, because sometimes when we chant we think, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. This is my goal for today. But this is your real goal here. And that is prema. Prema tana vina vyarta daritra jivan. Prema tana vina vyarta daritra jivan. Das kari bhekta mare deho prematan. Das kari bhekta mare deho prematan. Without love of Godhead, my life is useless. Therefore, I pray, you accept me as your servant and give me the salary of ecstatic love of God. So premadana is the pay we get for everything we do here. That's our salary. That is our goal. And without this, our life is useless. Okay? So, we will stop here, and if you have any questions or comments, then you can answer this. point. Yes?
Why it is that sometimes the mind is here, but the mind is actually in the heart?
Actually, yeah, we think the mind is here.
Yeah, why is that?
That's the Western thinking. But actually, no, everything's in the heart. The mind, manasa, citta, everything, consciousness is here. The subtle body is in the heart. I mean, it's coming from the heart.
Because we do that.
Yeah, I know in the West, where everybody's up here. They're thinking they're here. Because all the senses are here. The eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears, everything is here. So you think, yeah, I'm here. Because this is where all the information is coming. And this is where, where our knowledge acquiring senses are. And the brain is here. And so we think the brain is the center. The brain is not the center. The heart is the center of the body. You can be brain dead and still live. This is the proof. That the heart, as long as the heart is beating, you're alive. Yeah, I gotta go in. Sorry. Good time.
And because we are too much disconnected from...
Yeah, we're disconnected, yes. Everything's in the heart. Thinking, feeling, willing, mind, intelligence, false ego, everything is there in the heart. The subtle body is in the heart. The soul is in the heart also. So in Sanskrit, manasa, citta, it all is the same. It's in the heart. Buddhi. Everything is coming from the heart. The brain is simply it's something else. It's just an instrument. It's an instrument. Central nervous system, but actually the intelligence and everything is coming from the heart. It's a whole new thing for Western people. That we think we're up here, but we're actually here. And quite a change. Yes?
About developing the mode of goodness, it's said in Bhagavad Gita, like in the 14th chapter, in one Prabhu, he says that one can develop goodness by determination, but also determination, like, doesn't that determination have to be in goodness in one sense to be able to, what does it mean, this determination?
What does it mean, determination and goodness?
No, to develop, it said that one can develop
goodness by determination. Yeah, it means determination and goodness. But Dhruva Maharaj, he had determination and passion, but he still got goodness. So he developed goodness. Goodness means also discipline and regulation. So because Dhruva Maharaj, he's the example of determination, he was so determined that he was able to discipline his senses, discipline his mind, everything, because of his determination. Because of his determination, he could follow the instructions of Narada Muni and perform this very difficult yoga system and get perfection. So that's why Nectar of Instruction says determination is one of the things that will give you success. Utsahan, enthusiasm, nishchayat, conviction is like determination. Dharyat, patience. So yes, determination is, In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, determination is also glorified. And Prabhupada gives the example of the sparrow who lost her eggs in the ocean and decided to try to empty the ocean with her small beak. Because of her determination, Prabhupada said, the Lord helps those who help themselves. So the gigantic Garuda came, who could do the job, and said to the ocean, give her eggs back. So the ocean had to listen. So just if we are determined, then we will attract the attention of Krishna, and he will help us. Yes, determination. Of course, that is determination in the mode of goodness, unbreakable determination. Sustained by yoga practice, if you study the symptoms of determination in goodness. So all of us are a mixture. I mean, he was mainly in passion, but he had some goodness too. He was mainly in passion because of his desires. He was doing it, he had a motive for doing this yoga He wanted to get the kingdom. He had a motive for worshipping the Lord. So this is in the mode of passion, devotional service and passion. But his determination was in goodness. So that was helpful for him to achieve the goal. I mean, if you study the symptoms of determination in Bhagavad Gita, you will see his determination was in goodness, unbreakable. Sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice. So there you go. He had that mode of goodness determination. The other determination, like ignorance, means no. When you're in ignorance, it's the opposite of the quality. And ignorance means no determination. You can't go beyond dreaming, sleeping, madness. I mean, maybe a slight desire might come in your mind. Oh, I wish I could stop drinking. I wish I could get a job, but it doesn't go beyond that. That's your determination. Passion, you have some determination to get material things. So that was actually true. He had that, but his determination was very fixed. So therefore he was successful. Materially and spiritually, he was successful. Yes?
Yesterday we have discussed in the Sunday class regarding death.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a small doubt regarding that.
Yes?
Now we worship like Gaunita
Mm-hmm.
in the form of Jagannatha, Lord Narasimha, all the other forms of incarnations of Lord. Do we think that we remember all of them at a time when we are in the last stage of death, or we remember one?
Well, we remember all of them.
Is it possible?
Well, what happens during this life is that you get attached to one very much. That's what happens. I mean, we worship all of them. We worship Gaunita, we worship Radha Krishna, we worship Nishinadev. But one of them is the one which you have a special attraction for. And that will stay with you until the time of death. And that's who will come and get you, the time of death. It may be Prabhupada. Prabhupada may come and get you if you're very attached, like Brahmananda. For sure it was Prabhupada who came and got him. Others are attached to different ones. Radha Krishna, Gaunitai. And some devotees are attached to both Gaunitai and Radha Krishna. So they will go to Navadvip and to Vrindavan simultaneously. They will be in two places at once, multitasking. But the soul can do that. The soul can go 2 places it can go 10 places at once you become pure. It can go many places at once. And that's described in many scriptures. We have Bhagavatamrita, it's described. And even Krishna book is described in some of the stories, how the sages were in 2 places at once. Krishna was with Krishna in 2 places at once. Because what happened, Krishna came to this, I think it was Mithila, and the king and the Brahmana both invited Krishna to their house. And he accepted both invitations. So he went to both houses at the same time. But the person who invited only saw him come to their house. He went with the king and he went with the Brahmana. And the sages also went with the king and the sages went with the Brahmana. So they divided themselves in 2, everybody. And they went to these different houses. Wouldn't that be fun? If, when Prabhupada was here, we could go two different places. We could be in our temple and we would think, no, she's right here. Or we could go off where Prabhupada was at the same time and be where he was. That would be so cool. No, not yet. We're not yet liberated. I have to wait for that. Jivan Mukta. When you're Jivan Mukta, then you can do that. You can be here and there, like Prabhupada. And we are waiting for that day. Any other questions or comments? Yes?
I have one more question about the level of faith, because it's what
Yeah, faith goes through all the levels, actually.
Yeah, and that's also in Bhagavad Gita.
Mm-hmm. 3 kinds,
The
yeah.
17th chapter about this, like, different kind of faith, and it's according to the heart. And I was thinking, is there some, like, connection, like, with the beginning stages of one's faith? It's more like, it's not steady, it's more like in the mode of Buddhism, like,
Well,
can one say
that's
like that? Or?
well, that's yes. There is one description of the 3 classes of devotees according to faith. That the faith of the neophyte devotee is changeable; they can lose it. And when you come to the middle, the madhyama stage, the preaching, then your faith is strong, but you may not have complete knowledge. And when you come to the level of uttama, then nothing can stop you. Your faith is completely fixed. Even the middle stage, your faith is fixed. So the 3 classes of devotees, there's 3 different types of faith. And madhyama, there's different descriptions. Madhyama should be at least at Nistha, most likely, up to asakti. And then the uttama is from bhava, prema, like that. And the neophyte is the struggling, nirvana. And but the madhyama, the preacher, he's at least on the level of Nistha, steadiness, as far as faith goes. Nothing can change him, nothing can... He believes everything, you know. Yeah, the sun is closer, the moon is farther than the sun. Why not? How can you tell just by looking here? It certainly looks bigger than the sun. Well, that would mean it's closer, but actually it's bigger, that's all. Anyway, yeah, there's so many things. And Prabhupada was talking in one class in Australia about this big, gigantic birds like Garuda. They fly from planet to planet, and in mid-air the eggs hatch and drop and become birds, and they start flying too. So planet to planet, gigantic birds. And so after the class, one person raised his hand. You talked about these flying birds. He was doubting it, and Prabhupada said, "You are still in the womb of your mother. What do you know?" So, anyway. And they asked him, Krishna and Balaram jumped off the top of a mountain. Where is this mountain located? And Prabhupada said, in the sky. So, you can't figure it out with your intelligence, but at some level you have to just accept. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the spiritual world exists. Of course, we see how our sources are genuine, much more genuine than the daily newspaper. They have their motives in printing different things. They have their slant, their perceptions, and things they want to get across, and so it's slanted. It's not always the truth. But people have faith in the newspapers, and we have faith in the scriptures. Because we saw Prabhupada and how he was an example of pure devotion, selflessness. How he exemplified everything he was teaching. Humility, even though he was spiritual master of thousands, he was so humble. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.